Good evening. It is TA from Taste and See South Florida here at WPTV. It is the Golden Globes pre-party. The Golden Globes are tonight at 7 o'clock. If you want to talk with us, and you can put things in the comments, and we'd love to see what you have to say about the Golden Globes. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. I'm going to bring in first Chelsea Taylor from New Country 103.1 WIRK, because we've been doing this for 3 years now.
3 years, but I miss your face because normally we're in the studio.
And we're glammed up and not wearing Nike shorts.
I gotta be honest, I'm like jean shorts from the bottom down, like true like party down below or whatever you want to say. But it's so much fun when we normally get to do this and chat about the shows and the awards, and we're looking at red carpet. So thanks for having me, as always. I love you. I miss you.
I miss you too. And, my next guest panelist is Sabirah Rayford from WPTV News Channel 5. Sabirah, we've been trying to do a project together for 3 years.
I know. And in honor of me finally getting a little taste of the Taste and See world, I went all glammed out. So I am so excited to be here with you today, TA. And we have a lot of fun behind the scenes that people don't get to see in the day-to-day. So they're going to get a taste of the real Sab City.
Now, Sab City, I know you have to have a tiara.
I am ready. I'm all about the crown, and we'll be talking about that a little bit. So I have my crown here. So Princess Sabirah is here. The news reporter, we'll see her tomorrow, but it's Princess Sabirah tonight, okay? All
right, Sabirah, thank you so much. And let's go on to somebody I've known the longest on the panel. It's Randi West from 97.9 WRMF. We've known each other 11 years, and this is our first time working together.
Our first time. And I was just told there'd be champagne, so of course I said yes. So I'm like, hey, there's going to be champagne? Great.
Yeah, so if you guys want to chat with us, you can put the comments, you can make a comment on social media pages. And Randi, you and Chelsea and I are all from radio, and we're actually going to let viewers come on live with us. And we know how to, like, if you go off topic or whatever, we know what to do. We're experts. We just ignore you and move on. So that's going to be an interesting aspect. And then Mark is here. And Mark, I'm sorry you didn't make the opening credits. I apologize about that. Mark Bretschmal. So thank you for being here with us. We really appreciate it. You're like, I'm supposed to call you as the WPTV.com contributing film critic.
Yes, yeah. And I'm here. I'm happy to talk about what it's like to be a film critic during award season. And I'm not saying I get a lot of mail during award season, but the FedEx guy and the UPS guy, we're all on a first name basis.
Okay, that's awesome. So let's get started with our stream here. I want to talk about the Golden Globes this year. It's I love Tina Fey. I don't know about you guys, and Amy Poehler. They're kind of my favorite hosts to host these things because they're so funny. Here's what they are going. This is their promo they're playing right now.
Tina and I are back hosting the Golden Globes.
The stakes have never been lower.
If we play our cards right, it might be the last awards show ever.
The Golden Globe Awards, live Sunday, February 28th on NBC.
You need this as much as we do.
Like, that's in like 30 minutes. They're going to be on there. But here's the thing, guys. They're going to be in two different places. Tina Fey's going to be at the Rainbow Room, and Amy's going to be at the Hilton in LA, and they're not going to be interacting with each other. So I'm wondering if that's going to mess up their comedic timing. And then also, they always kind of razz the audience. They kind of like make fun of the actors, and they're not going to be there because they're going to be at home.
Well, I think they definitely have their work cut out for them. And I like that they say that the stakes couldn't be lower. Like, there's a lot going on in the world right now. We know that. But this is a night to have fun. This is a night to take a break from all that stress. Like I mentioned before, Monday, we'll get back to it. And it's still on top of our minds. But I like that they're being real about that there are big, serious issues going on in the world, but they're still going to poke fun at it and have a good time and show us what's going on in the entertainment world.
Yeah, and just because they're not all together in one building, I still don't think anybody will be safe from one of them making fun of someone. No shot. No shot.
I don't disagree, Chelsea. I think for sure.
There's no red carpet this year. That's weird, right?
Definitely. Like, I wonder how that's going to happen, especially when it comes to Jane Fonda accepting her award tonight. Will she be at the Beverly Hilton? I assume she will be, but there's a lot of unknowns tonight, so I think it'll be an interesting watch.
Awesome. And Mark, anything you want to say about Tina and Amy?
Part of the highlights with them is when they make a joke about somebody in the audience. There's a cutaway of the person groaning or laughing or looking angry. None of that this year, so that'll be interesting.
Leslie Grace Streeter, formerly of Palm Beach Post. She's usually Chelsea on this panel with us.
No, I see her.
I wish I was there, so we wish you were here too.
I know. She's up in Baltimore, right? In Maryland right now.
She is. We miss her dearly.
Yes.
Now, Sabirah, tell us about the streaming, or I mean, is it Sabirah that's doing this? I'm sorry. I lost my Chelsea, tell us about the streaming landscape.
Well, I mean, I think streaming services obviously got all of our hearts since COVID started. I mean, not that they didn't have our hearts before. But then you saw, I mean, of course, Netflix has always, been this constant, but then they completely upped it this year with more movies, more shows than I feel like we'd ever had before. So, of course, The Crown getting 6 nominations this year, Mank coming in with 6 nominations. And then you saw HBO Max, Disney Plus with The Mandalorian, Apple TV coming out with shows like Ted Lasso. So, I mean, streaming services, honestly, everybody knows this already, completely has dominated this year.
Yeah, there was only one network show that was even nominated, and that was from NBC. But I was like, I remember when they were always ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox shows, and now it's just everybody's kind of migrating the best content to streaming services, feels like.
Yeah, I think I didn't even know what HBO Max was until all of a sudden it was like, oh, we can only see this movie or the show on HBO Max. And we're like, well, obviously we now have to have this. It's just been an interesting year to see that.
Yeah, and all the services are doing well. Like Hulu, they had 5 nominations last year. This year they have 10. They have the United States versus Billie Holiday in Palm Springs. So they are just getting more and more dominant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Sabirah, women are really dominating the director category this year, right?
Yeah, it is huge news right now. Women are totally dominating in the best director category, especially. Now, we haven't seen this kind of momentum in really ever, honestly. Let's just keep it real. We haven't seen it ever. I mean, we're talking 1984, Barbara Streisand, that long ago. We're talking, it's a big deal. And okay, people and names to know. Regina King, One Night in Miami. That is an amazing movie, and it has a great historical landscape, but she's obviously nominated as director, so we're going to be seeing how she really told that story through her lens, of course, and her awesome directing. And then Chloe Zhao is another one. She's nominated, and she actually became the first Asian American woman to be nominated for Best Director. So also there's Emerald Fennell, who played Camilla Parker Bowles on The Crown. I got my crown right here. So I'm telling you guys, I'm ready for this. This is a big deal. And obviously we don't want to also forget Ava DuVernay, who was nominated in 2015 for Selma, but she did not win. So we're talking 1984 for the last time since a woman has actually won that category. So Mark, I'm sure you have something to say about that.
Well, there's so many strong female directors that didn't get directed. The directors for the film Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always, the movie about a film about a woman having an abortion, a teenager, and also First Cow, both directed by women. So they're coming up and getting their chance to direct and showing they can do the job like they always knew.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Regina King, to me, she just has the most infectious smile that I've ever seen. I love it when she smiles. I don't care what she's talking about. It just puts me in a great mood. But Randi, we really need to talk about the snubs.
This was the dramatic part of it, I think. And there's 2 words that come to mind, and that's Meryl Streep. She was in The Prom and Let Them All Talk, and she was nominated for neither. And I don't feel too bad for Meryl Streep, by the way. She in her career has been nominated 33 times. She's won 9 of the time, so I think it was probably a pass, or maybe her performance wasn't as great this year. Zendaya for Malcolm and Marie, she was snubbed. Delroy Lindo, I think a lot of people thought for Spike Lee's The Five Bloods would be nominated and was not. And then really most notably is Bridgerton. 82 million people have streamed Bridgerton. It's their biggest show on Netflix. And it got a big goose egg. So there you go.
The Crown is back. The Crown is back.
Bridgerton. Am I the only one who was like, could they not be nominated this year? Is there?
I tried to find out if they were like past the deadline.
No, they were eligible.
Yeah.
They were eligible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Snubs, sure.
Pronounce the Duke's name. I know we're going off topic a little bit, but he needs some shine here. We need to give him an honorary.
Reggae John.
If you're watching this, hello.
So Chelsea's like me. We watched it almost pretty practically in one sitting.
Yeah.
Yes, because the early mornings in radio kind of give you the liberty to have the afternoons, before kid pickup. So nothing says let's be more productive than come home and binge watch Bridgerton. And super classy. And it was one of those shows where I watched one episode to see if it was something I'd watch with my husband. Of course it was. Was I going to wait for him? Absolutely not. So I watched every single episode, and then all of a sudden he wanted to watch it. So I was like, fine, I will watch it with you again. I just thought it was such a fun show and so great. And I was actually so shocked to see that the most watched show on Netflix got 0 nominations.
Mark, why do you think that is? Do you have any insight on that?
You know, with the Golden Globes, it's always surprising who they nominate and who they don't. Some people think they're aiming for the people that'll show up at the awards and get better ratings. But you never know. There's only 87 members of the Golden Globes, so it's always been a small group that, you know, they were formed back in 1943 or 1944, and it's all foreign press that kind of banded together so they could get people Hollywood's attention. So it's I wouldn't say an inbred world, but it's a little bit of a group that doesn't change a lot. They only allow 5 new members every year, if they can even get that many people. I've spoken to a lot of Golden Globe members over the years, and they talk about how it's hard to crack that nut and get in. And sometimes you might be from one country and there's already somebody from that country in the Golden Globes, and they may campaign against you from getting in. So it's a little bit of a tricky thing. So yeah, so
it's like this though. There's always one weird, kind of strange political one, and I'm not into period pieces at all. And I loved Bridgerton, so
right.
You know,
a big issue is that the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, they don't have any Black members right now, and they're coming under fire for that, and that's a little bit of a controversy right now. Correct, Mark?
Exactly. Yeah, there was a subject of 2 investigative pieces in the LA Times and the New York Times, and it's kind of shed a spotlight on a group that doesn't always have a lot of light on them. You know, there's always a lot of talk too about, you know, all the things studios court them because, again, they kick off award season, so you have stars sending them watches. For Emily in Paris, they flew all these Golden Globe members to Paris and put them up at a beautiful hotel, and that show got a nomination, even though a lot of people didn't think it was that great. So anyway, but the Golden Globes, you know, they're the ones that start the race to Oscar, so people go after them.
Well, really briefly, Mark, what is the critics' role in the Golden Globe? Because they really court you, right?
Yeah, I belong to another group, the Critics' Choice Association, for the last 25 years, I think. But during award seasons, all the studios want you to see their films, so they start sending out screeners. So I get screeners that are popping up in my mailbox and digital screeners, and they just come and come and come. But they also send other things. You know, for like the screenplay category, I'll get a copy of the screenplay. I'll get hardcover copies, softcover copies, autographed copies. But some of the items are even more interesting. Like, let's say for the movie I'm Your Woman with Rachel Brosnahan, I got a note from her saying, thank you for all the time you spent supporting the arts. So what did she send? This beautiful alarm clock. So I got that. The movie, The United States versus Billie Holiday. Of course, Billie Holiday was known for wearing a gardenia in her hair. That was kind of her trademark. So what did the FedEx guy bring? This is a gardenia, or a scent diffuser with a gardenia scent in it. So I thought that was pretty clever. I don't know. I don't know why, but for the movie First Cow, which was a movie about kind of early days in Oregon, I got this First Cow wrapping paper from A24.
I could use that.
Some of them were okay for some people are a little bit more direct about getting nominated. This is for the movie the Borat sequel. I got this from Sacha Baron Cohen. CCA, please accept gift. And the gift was actually very clever. The poster of the movie, if you remember, shows him wearing a personal protective device in an unusual place. And what did they send? They sent it a full-size diaper PPE here. So
So I was waiting. I was like, this is just that poster, and then you started sending a picture with, or showing a picture with underwear, and then we saw the underwear.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, so it's amazing. I mean, and for the movie Mank, I'll show this one here for the best music category. This beautiful folder, and there's a sheet of music from the film signed by the composer. So there's all that kind of stuff coming in your mail, and the Golden Globe and the Academy members, they're even amped up even higher. But it's pretty interesting stuff, and some of it's very, very clever.
All right, so let's move on. I want to start with the best television series, musical or comedy. The nominees are Emily in Paris on Netflix. And Mark, you touched on this briefly. I felt like it was a D-list version of The Devil Wears Prada. I kept pausing the thing, going like, how much time is left in this 27 minutes? I can't sit here for 27 minutes and watch this. I thought for women of that age, I think it's going to appeal to them because they're thinking about, what if I start this beautiful life in Paris? Wouldn't that be cool? But it was dull. I couldn't stand it.
Yeah, it had decidedly mixed reviews.
Yeah, and then The Flight Attendant is in the category, and Kaylee Cuoco, I can never say that. Did I say it right, Randy?
Yeah, close enough.
Okay, I am used to her on The Big Bang Theory. I am used to her on, the what does she do? Priceline. And I thought she was kind of pigeonholed into one category. And I really liked that she was able to, expand herself and pivot and really get into this crazy thriller. And Chelsea, you watched this. You liked it, didn't you? Oh, she fell off again. We'll get back to Chelsea. And then Schitt's Creek, hands down my favorite. I that's another one like Bridgerton. I didn't find out about it until season 6 was already out, and I went through season 1 through 6 within 2 weeks. I mean, what do y'all think about Schitt's Creek?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Schitt's Creek, really we're finding out about Schitt's Creek after it's already won all the awards from all the other award shows. They've never been nominated for a Golden Globe. We're kind of going backwards, right, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love Schitt's Creek, and I have some personal reasons for that. Early in my TV career, I worked up in Canada, and the station I worked at, we did the TV show SCTV. So I would sometimes be called up as a 22-year-old right out of school to show Eugene Levy how to run a 3/4-inch tape machine.
Oh my God!
So yeah, so to see him get all this acclaim now.
Sabirah, tape is.
I knew you were coming for me. I knew you were coming for me. I'm trying to before it happened. Any millennials speak. Thank you. Continue.
For a fellow who is such a wildly comedic, and to get all that acclaim for playing the straight man, that was I was just so impressed. And then Catherine O'Hara, of course, was on SCTV as well. Yeah. And to see them get this acclaim, decades after SCTV, it was really, really well deserved and nice to see.
And Chelsea, I want to circle back. You really love The Flight Attendant, right?
I did, honestly. I mean, obviously from watching Kaylee Cuoco on The Big Bang Theory, the way that it transforms into this actress who's completely opposite of that character, I thought was really, really great. And not only that, just the way the entire show is done. It was based on a book. My mom and I had actually both read the book. And then when we saw, we're like, oh my God, this is such a crazy show. But really good. I was very pleasantly surprised.
Lenora Austin says, I'm so excited about the Golden Globes tonight. So are we. We really are. So that's a lot of fun. And then the last one in this category, I don't know, guys, if you ever watch SNL, but I love it. But sometimes they take the bit a little too long. Like they could have bailed out 2 minutes earlier. That's what I feel about Ted Lasso. I just felt like Jason Sudeikis, who I love, just goes on too long. It was really just drawn out. And that, I feel like this is more of the same from him. Okay, let's go to Chelsea and do best performance by an actor in a television series drama. Chelsea.
Drama. All right, all the drama. So, of course, returning, we have Jason Bateman from Ozark, The Crown, Josh O'Connor, Better Call Saul, Bob Odenkirk, and Al Pacino Hunters, by the way, which I loved that show. And then Matthew Rhys, Perry Mason. So a very, very difficult category in my opinion. I'm a huge Ozark fan. I think Jason Bateman is very talented. He's been nominated multiple times. The Crown, another amazing show. But I have to be honest, did anybody else watch The Hunters at all?
No.
No. It's just a really kind of crazy story about like this neo-Nazis hunting and Al Pacino's in it. I mean, it's just something I was very intrigued in, and it's not anything that I feel like we've seen lately, and not the same old thing. So that one was kind of the shocker for me that I'm excited to see that in this category.
Talissa says, enjoying this segment. Thanks so much. And Darlene keeps commenting, I haven't heard of any of these things. It's a valid point.
Darlene, I like you, girl.
Yes.
I do some of these, but the movies, no, not so much.
She says, just saying. And I think that's what the Golden Globes are actually for, is like if you miss something in the previous year, it sort of puts it out there so you know to like maybe to go out and look for some of this quality content that's getting rave reviews of critics, and you know some of the oh, Charlie says I have no cable here. Me either. I got the cord. I have an antenna, so I get you. I get you for sure.
It's so hard now. I mean, you have to have there's so many streaming services, and there's sometimes like in the evening, my wife and I will start watching shows that I need to watch, and it's like, okay, it's Hulu.
Right.
Is it Netflix? Is it Apple Plus? Which remote do I need? And so it's hard.
Well, Xfinity has fixed this. I just got an Xfinity Internet, and it comes with a little remote, and I say, Schitt's Creek or Harry Potter, and it takes me to the right thing that I've purchased.
Aaron to kind of hear what comes up when you say Schitt's Creek, but hopefully it gets it right. I know with my Alexa, it gets dangerous sometimes, but hey.
We were the same way with the HBO Max. Kind of threw me off when HBO Max came out. I was like, do we have this? Do we pay for extra for this?
Same way. It's very confusing. Very confusing.
It does.
It really is.
It does.
And then a lot of the big companies are making two streaming services. So CBS All Access had theirs. Well, now they're splitting off Paramount Plus. And so you got to get another thing that's $6 a month. And it's like, okay.
So for me also, being a big Paramount watcher, because I watch Yellowstone, that was kind of another one for me. Does anybody else watch Yellowstone?
Yes.
Kind of surprised that we didn't see any nominations from that show, you know?
Absolutely. Lisa says, Walking Dead for me. That's her jam. So I get it. Now, I want to get a little more serious now with Sabirah, because we're going to talk about the best director in the motion picture category. This is one that we haven't seen this ever. Women are dominating this category. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you're totally right. So let's just run down the list a little bit. It's what I kind of mentioned earlier. We have Emerald Fennell, Promising Young Woman. That's a focus feature. Then we have a man in the category, David Fincher, Mank, of course, on Netflix. Then we have Regina King, One Night in Miami, which is on Prime Video. And then Aaron Sorkin, The Trial of Chicago 7, and Chloe Zhao, No Man's Land, and that's a Searchlight picture. So, you know, when we talk about women dominating this category, it is a fact. And all these movies really stand out. I'm sure Mark can talk about that a little bit, but they're all very different. And it just goes to show what women can bring to the table. So, I mean, I even remember being in the theaters, and this was, well, a long time ago, but this, Promising Young Woman was actually the last trailer I saw in person in the movie theaters. And I remember hearing Britney Spears' Toxic playing, you know, and I was like, what is this? This is such an interesting film. And then now we've kind of seen the landscape of Prime and Netflix and those type of films take over, I feel like, in a COVID world. So it's really something to watch and look out for. And this has really just been an eye-opening year for sure.
Randy, what do you think about this category this year? I mean, the women are just taking over here. That has to feel pretty good.
I think as I was going through a lot of the nominees, there were a lot of very difficult categories. Wouldn't you agree with that, Mark, this year? That it is really, I was trying to get into the mind of the Hollywood Foreign Press and think, well, okay, which performance are they really going to navigate towards? And I'm still torn in many, many of these categories. So I think in this particular category, it's going to be a tough one because so many women are nominated.
You know, I would say the early front runner was Mank, but I think that kind of petered out. I was actually quite let down by that film. It had a great look to it, but I didn't think it was that great. I really, really loved promising young woman. That movie, from the artwork and the poster, it's really hard to figure out what it's about. But the twists in that movie were just incredible. The movie draws you in, and the ending, it has such a unique and satisfying ending. Well, mostly satisfying, but it was just a very clever movie. And to me, that's the front runner.
I agree. I agree. I think that's the one to watch for this category.
Hey, Randy, break down the best performance by an actress in a television series for us.
So this is another, like I said, very tough category. Cate Blanchett for Mrs. America, that of course is on Hulu. Shira Haas for Unorthodox on Netflix. Daisy Edgar-Jones, Normal People. This is kind of the sleeper one that I think could be a real factor in this category. Nicole Kidman is fantastic in The Undoing on HBO. I think that is going to be, I think Nicole Kidman, again, I'm really torn in a lot of these categories. And then you have The Queen's Gambit with Anya Taylor-Joy, which has been the talk of Netflix, and everyone loves Queen's Gambit. So another really difficult category, pretty diverse category, but I think I'm going to go with Nicole Kidman or Daisy Edgar-Jones for Normal People.
Chelsea, you have some opinions on this category for sure, right?
I mean, like we keep saying, The Queen's Gambit, The Undoing, Normal People, this is a tough category. I'm not sure which category here isn't. But for me, Nicole Kidman's performance in The Undoing was fantastic. I'm a huge Nicole Kidman fan. For some reason, I feel like each role she does, the next is better than the one before. I'm just not sure how she keeps evolving, but I thought she was so great in that entire series. So that's, yeah, the great category though.
Yeah, complicated character. Nicole Kidman is the one probably. So
yeah.
All right, let's move on to the best performance by an actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Borat, he's cringe-worthy for me. I cannot stand it.
I love it.
I'm with you, TA.
And I think he's doing it right. That's the
unnecessary anxiety is what I call this cat. This. Oh, we got out of the 5 videos. Jason, our producer, he puts this one up. Okay, so I think Maria Bakalova does an excellent job for the film's format, for what it is. It's an important to note, though, that the Foreign Press likes this film. There's a lot of writing about it. Mark, what do you think? Do you have any insight on that?
I am just going back to the nominees again. I agree with you on Borat. I'm not a huge Borat fan, despite receiving my personal protective device diaper. I just, I'm laughing 30% of the time, cringing 30% of the time, and the rest of it I have my hands up in the air. So I don't know if I would call that the front runner for Best Supporting Actress.
The other nominee in this category is Kate Hudson, and she's in the movie Music. And she does a really excellent job. She's sort of like somebody that doesn't have, she's an adult, she's shaved her head, she parties all night. Well, then her sister lands in her lap and she has to take care of her. And she does what Kate Hudson does best. She draws you into the character and you feel like you are the character, like, and she's so good at it. And then Michelle Pfeiffer in French Exit, I think she's one of the actresses that can take you into the highest levels of suspended disbelief. She's so strong, except when she played Catwoman. Let's just ignore that. But everything else.
I love the way you just described that, TA, though, honestly. But then you have to put the yeah.
I mean, there's the Catwoman. It's campy, she did go that. But there was like the train movie she was just in. I can't think of the Oriental Express. She did such a great job in that movie. And then Rosemud Pike, I Care a Lot. It's from Netflix. This I just watched. It just came out on Netflix 8 days ago. It is a terrifying story of how rich senior citizens can be declared incompetent to have their own lives. Diane Weiss is in it too, and she's fantastic. And they prey on people that have no relatives and nobody there to advocate for them. And she gets put into a mental institution to take away all of her riches, including diamonds and more things like that. But there's a twist to it. You hate her in the beginning, and somehow at the end, you kind of want her to get away with some stuff. It is fantastic. Anybody else see this?
I But my parents were calling me about it this weekend. So Lisa and Kenny, if you're watching, love you guys. But they were like, Sabirah, did you see this? And they're calling me back and they're like, did you? And I'm like, I'm out. It's like I'm running errands. But they made me want to go check it out for sure. And you just made me want to check it out. And it seems very interesting. And I think I got a couple of news stories. So I put back on my news hat tomorrow night or tomorrow. I'm gonna kind of look into this. I mean, seriously, it's crazy.
It's good.
I want to see it now, for sure.
And then Anna Taylor for Emma. It's another period piece. It doesn't have the magic of Bridgerton or The Crown. So I'm saying in this category, I want Rosamund Pike to win because she just it's the best movie I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I agree. I care a lot. The twist in it, the supporting cast, like from the get-go, and then when it changes directions, you go, whoa, and it changes directions again. So she's my front runner.
For sure. Let's bring in Chelsea Taylor to talk about the best performance by an actor in a motion picture and drama. Chelsea?
Okay, so we have Riz Ahmed from Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman, of course, the late Chadwick Boseman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins, The Father, Gary Oldman, Mank, and Tahir Rahim, the Mauritanian. So I'm going to be completely honest. I have only been able to see 2 of these movies in this category. I am a sucker for a true story movie. That's like where I always go. I always want to see if it's based on a true story. So I, of course, watched the last one that I just mentioned, and with Jodie Foster and Shailene Woodley in it. And I thought that movie was spectacularly done.
Yes.
So no, I have a ton of questions of what Mark, because once again, like we go back to so many movies that you'll now go back and watch now that you see the Golden Globes that you were like, I've never even heard of these movies, right? But I'm a huge Chadwick Boseman fan, of course, and I obviously would be so happy to see him win posthumously. Mark, what do you think?
Yeah, well, let's go down the list here. Riz Ahmed, The Sound of Metal. That was a movie that came out of nowhere, but it's a small film. It's about a drummer who loses his hearing and what he goes through. Anthony Hopkins. It's one of the many movies this year that has to do with dementia. Yes. And if you're not crying at the end of this movie, I don't know what's wrong with you. But it's dark. Mank. Gary Oldman got the Oscar for the Winston Churchill film, so I don't think he's going to get it. The Mauritanian, that again, another dark film. Somebody at Guantanamo Bay, a prisoner, and the things he's going through. So I really like Chadwick Boseman, and not just because he's a sentimental favorite because he passed away. He's really amazing in this movie. He's a musician who's rebelling against the other fellas in the band. And he has so much energy, and how his character has I don't want to give away the ending, but just he goes from optimistic to way to the other end, and he really delivers an amazing performance.
Sabirah, you really have been covering a lot of mental health issues since the pandemic. Do you think that's why we're sort of seeing some of these movies and TV shows come out?
Absolutely. I mean, I think what happens in the real world is going to be displayed in television and movies, of course. I mean, if you see some of our favorite TV shows, Grey's Anatomy, I mean, they known at the Golden Globes Awards, and they are taking on the pandemic. I mean, this is something that we're going to be talking about now and in years to come for sure. So I think this is definitely a big moment to see these real life stories kind of play out in movie and TV, and also have even the themes of it, like mental health, as you mentioned.
Absolutely. And Sabirah, we put you in charge of the best performance by an actress in a television drama. Take us through that.
All righty. Well, the first one up is, here we go, The Crown. Olivia Colman in The Crown. And obviously, we love this show. I mean, it has all the juicy drama. I mean, there's even a little controversy with, hey, is this real? Did this actually happen? And I think they had to add like a viewer discretion that this isn't all based loosely type of thing in the beginning. So that's a very good show. And Olivia Colman is nominated in that category. We have Jodie Comer for Killing Eve, which is a BBC production. And we have Emma Corrin, The Crown, okay, of course. And then we have Laura Linney for Ozark. Oh my gosh, I love Ozark. I'm from Kansas City, so we would vacation in the lake, at the Lake of the Ozarks. I didn't see all that like we see in the show, okay? But
No. I went to college in the Ozarks. I don't need to relive it like Chelsea Taylor likes to do. But you like that show, Chelsea, right?
I do love that show. Started watching it, of course, the first season, and then progressively each season just gets darker and darker and more terrifying. And you're like, how can they possibly make this any darker? And then they do. But it is a, like you said, if you're, seen Jason Bateman and watch his career and you see him be able to pull off this dark of a show, it is very impressive.
Even just watching the trailer that Jason, our producer's playing, it's just making me want to go and watch it and have my popcorn. I mean, even the hues of blue, the way the show is shot, it's in that very like gray blue scale, which I love when you're kind of relaxing on a rainy day, which is kind of takes you to another place when you're living in beautiful South Florida. Come on, let's be real. So
well, and I binged Ozark during the hurricane, season 1 and 2, when we had that tropical storm come through, and that's what got me hooked. And I literally was like, it's so rainy, I'll just start a few episodes, and then I couldn't stop watching.
And then rounding out the category is Queen Sarah Paulson. I mean, what role have we not seen her dominate in Ratchet? So, it's interesting. I started Ratchet, I'm not going to lie, Nurse Ratchet, and, it was a little ratchet for me. So, I don't know, guys. But
Randi, why don't you take us through the best television series and drama?
So The Crown, I'm waiting for her to put, I need the crown on again. I wish I could brought my team on.
Should we have all had a crown tonight?
We all had crowns, I know. Lovecraft Country on HBO is nominated in this category. The Mandalorian, this was everyone who's a Star Wars fan on Disney Plus. Everyone talked about The Mandalorian. I'm not a Star Wars.
Jason would pick that video to pull up out of the 5.
There you go. And of course, we've had extensive conversations about Ozark. I may boycott the foreign Hollywood press if they don't give Jason Bateman Best Actor, but that's neither here nor there. And I am absolutely, I definitely agree about Nurse Ratchet. Ratchet is also nominated in this category for Netflix, and it's a very intense, it gives me anxiety watching it. And it makes me, I don't know, it's just very, if I want to sleep that night, I don't go into Ratchet. So.
And Randy, that's when we watch our shows. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you may love the show, but hey, we're watching and we live the crazy, okay? So we're trying to calm down a little bit.
It's just very intense. If you want something like mind-numbing to watch on Netflix, Ratchet is probably not for you. It's not a guilty pleasure, at least not for me.
As the Star Wars geek on the panel, I love Mandalorian. They really kept the spirit of Star Wars, but really made their own thing. And I appreciate that. It's not a copy of the 9 movies. So I appreciate that. Mark, do you have anything to add in this category?
Boy, on this one, I've seen 2 of the shows. So I loved Ozark and I loved The Crown. So I think I'm one of the few people in the country who hasn't seen any of the episodes of Mandalorian yet. So it's on my to-see list once we get through award season.
No worries. Let's do best performance by an actor, limited series, anthology series, or motion picture made for television, and none of them are from TV. They're all from streaming services. Bryan Cranston, I don't know if you saw this. He's a judge, and he plays a judge in Your Honor. Now, I don't know about you guys. I'm used to seeing him on playing character actors on TV sitcoms and really goofy and kind of like just always that out there character that just the 1 or 2 liners. He is in a very serious role in this one, and he really draws you in. He's very good. And then Jeff Daniels is in the Comey Rule. This thing is sort of like goes through the 2016 election, and he's the former FBI. He plays the former FBI director and his interactions with President Donald Trump. And no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, it really draws you in. It is very well done. But I expect more from Jeff. I think he's played better serious characters before, so I don't think he'll win this one. And then Chelsea, you'll have to talk about Hugh Grant in The Undoing. What are your thoughts on him?
Yes. I mean, obviously the show that I feel like between Donald Sutherland, Hugh Grant, and Nicole Kidman, we just got very fortunate to get a really great show off of the HBO series this year. Hugh Grant, once again, I don't want to give the ending away, but so much about his character was very shocking, obviously, to find out at the end, to watch him take you through this journey with him through his trial and being twisted through this loving, devout husband who had this affair. I mean, from the entire cast was fantastic, but Hugh Grant definitely, not the guy that I like fell in love with at Notting Hill by any means.
It's a flip from his rom-com. So that's what makes it.
This is not rom-com. He is not dancing, being the Prime Minister of England. There's none of that. So great show though.
Well, the Golden Globes just started on WPTV News Channel 5. So if you want to turn on your TV and follow along with us online, you have a second device. I know I do that a lot. Please watch WPTV News Channel 5, the Golden Globes coverage. This hour that's on right now, there's no awards being given. So if you still want to hang out with us, please do so. But I did want to alert you that it hit 7 o'clock and it is on. But continuing the best performance by an actor in TV, Ethan Hawke. I just feel like he always overacts. I feel like he's always I'm always kind of jarred out of that, like I mentioned before, that suspended disbelief. See him there, he's screaming. And I'm just calm down, dial it back. Listen to your director. And then last is Mark Ruffalo. I can never say it. Wait, Randy, help me out again.
Ruffalo.
I depend on Randy to help me pronounce things.
Close enough, it's fine.
It's interesting. It's interesting in this HBO show that he plays not only himself, but a schizophrenia character, his twin brother. So he's playing both roles, and it looks like he's gained weight as the sick brother, and he's thinner as the brother that does not have schizophrenia. He has such a dynamic range in this. I was not expecting him from this because I know him from, the Avengers and all those movies. And he's just kind of plays aloof, I haven't seen his serious work, and this is fantastic.
This is
I think he takes the award.
I think so too. I think you're right. Absolutely. Let's go to Chelsea Taylor. Best performance by an actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Chelsea, what do you got?
Coming up, TA's favorite, Borat, the subsequent movie. Sorry.
I am protesting this. I'm taking myself out.
We're just going to skip past it. We'll just go right past it for you. James Corden, The Prom, Lin-Manuel Miranda, of course, Hamilton, which I'm just going to take a break here real quick to talk about that because I feel like we were all pretty much deeply in quarantine when Disney Plus came out and let Hamilton be on Disney Plus, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, we have something to live for." I did a damn Hamilton ride on Peloton. I was so happy that it was on Disney Plus. Dev Patel, The Personal History of David Copperfield, which was Searchlight Pictures, and then Andy Samberg, Palm Springs HBO. And then, of course, is the man, the legend.
I think Hamilton is such a unique piece of creative content. They have to take it. Anybody else have a thought on that?
It's such an odd category to combine musicals and comedies. It makes it really hard.
Agreed. I think Hamilton here is probably going to take it.
Sabirah, what are your thoughts in this category?
Dude, I think I'm psychic because I knew you were coming to me, and I am probably the only person who has not seen Hamilton, and I know. I'm one of those people, there's some things that everyone has seen and I just haven't seen it yet. And then 10 years later, when no one's talking about it, I'll watch and I want to talk to everyone and they'll say, "Shut up. We've been talking about this for years." TA, I'm sorry. I know you probably want to kick me out of this panel now. Please, I was so excited to hang out with you guys. But I feel we talk about it all the time. Come on. So I just, there's.
I think, Sabirah, we have our next date planned. We are going to first just read the synopsis about the musical because you will not understand it because it goes so quick. And then read the whole thing because it's history. You should know it anyway. We all forget all the stuff and you have to kind of re-put it in our head and then go watch it. It is just fantastic. And since you're winning 100% here, Sabirah, why don't you take us through best performance by an actress in a motion picture or drama?
All right, best performance by an actress in a motion picture drama. First up, we have Viola Davis, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. That's on Netflix. I mean, Viola Davis is a force to be reckoned with. I love her. She is absolutely amazing, and she's been around for years. And I feel like we've just started talking about her on a mainstream level in the recent years, which is not fair to me, but this would be, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Okay, next up, Andra Day, The United States versus Billie Holiday, and that's on Hulu. We love Hulu. Oh my gosh, are these all? Nope, they're not all streaming services. Okay. Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman on Netflix, and then Frances McDormand, No Man Land on Searchlight Pictures. I've not seen that, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, let's just keep it real, 2021. And then Carey Mulligan, Promising Young Woman. I mean, she seems phenomenal as well, and just like, I want to hear what Randi thinks about this, though, honestly.
I think Promising Young Woman is going to be, and I think Mark mentioned it earlier, I think this is the show, piece of content to watch during tonight's Golden Globes. There's always big upsets. I know Mank has a ton of nominations in a lot of categories, but I do feel like Promising Young Woman is the one that we should all, the foreign Hollywood press is going to love this, and I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of upsets, particularly with this film.
Yeah, I agree. And also Andra Day for United States versus Billie Holiday. She's pretty amazing in that movie as well. So, Vanessa Kirby, Pieces of a Woman, the story about a woman whose child dies after childbirth. It's a very intense movie, but it is so sad. Frances McDormand, she also has, past Oscar winners. So I think sometimes voters will think, well, they've already won, let's give it to someone new. So Carey Mulligan and Andra Day, I think they're the two front runners.
All right, let's move on to the next category. Randi, it's Best Motion Picture in a Drama.
And again, another tough category. The Father, which Mark mentioned earlier, is one that tackles a big challenge about dementia and Alzheimer's. So that'll be interesting to see. It's on Sony. Mank, as I mentioned, Netflix, big nominee tonight in a lot of categories. Also in this category, No Man Land is also nominated. Promising Young Woman. I'm cheering on Promising Young Woman, and The Trial of the Chicago 7 on Netflix rounds out this category, which I think The Trial of the Chicago 7, and Mark, I'd love to hear what you think about this. Based on a true story, I'm kind of like Chelsea. I love real life stuff. This is kind of an interesting category for Best Motion Picture Drama.
Yeah, well, The Trial of Chicago 7 was written by Aaron Sorkin, of course, who did West Wing.
Right.
And he was actually asked by Steven Spielberg to write the script for that. And he called Aaron Sorkin over to his house and said, I want to do something about the Chicago 7. And he goes, that's a great idea. I'll do it. And he left. And he goes, then he had to find out what the Chicago 7 was about, which he didn't know, which of course was about
Wikipedia real quick.
Right.
I'm getting morning news meeting vibes. Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing about that movie is about the protesters that went on trial at the 1968 Democratic Convention in Chicago was how it was very even-handed. Like it wasn't the protesters are all good and all the people prosecuting them are all bad. It was much more nuanced. You got into all the different personalities. And then, of course, you have Borat in there, unrecognizable as I believe as Abby Hoffman, and he's great in that. There he is right now. So, between Trial of Chicago 7 and Promising Young Woman, and I think I'm going to go with Promising Young Woman.
I do. Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to take it tonight.
Absolutely. I agree with you guys. I haven't seen, I think you're right, Sabirah. I think, not seen all of them, it's not fair to make a judgment just yet, but, you try to do the best you can. Chelsea, what are your thoughts on that?
No, and I'm with you guys. This is like one category where I feel like where Mark was earlier, I'm like, okay, I have like 4 movies that I need to watch right now. This is one, I don't know about you guys, but this year for me, because of COVID, I feel like I tried to watch so many more happier shows than I normally do because my anxiety was at an all-time high.
I agree. That's why I turned off Ratchet. I was like, I can't watch this.
I'm telling you, it was one of those years for me where I was like, where is the smut? Somebody give me the joy and the merriment where I can like have something. And then, of course, I found The Undoing. So that's just a category for the drama where I'm like, all right, now I got to sit down and really like watch some of these movies because I do love a true story, Randi. You know that, so I will watch this.
All right, Best Actress in a TV Series, Musical, or Comedy. First was Lily Collins from Emily in Paris. Again, I felt like it was a D-list Devil Wears Prada. She didn't capture me in. I will say Richie, who works here, he's one of our photogs, he said that you have to get through the third show and then they find their footing. I'm sorry, any show where I'm just like, 17 minutes left. Like, let me cook something. What was that, Sabirah?
Like, it's kind of like what Chelsea said. It's like La La Land. Like, you see these fabulous clothes and these handsome and beautiful people. And, and earlier you said you only think the younger ones like it, the millennials and all that.
Yeah.
But I ran into a couple at a restaurant and somehow, I don't know, I talked to everybody with the mask on, of course. And they're like, Emily in Paris, yeah, we love that show. And I was like, oh, you guys watched that? And they're like, we love it. This was an older couple. So, hey, I mean, maybe. I
loved Emily in Paris, and I think it is just a guilty pleasure, TA. It wasn't a show that I think probably deserves accolades. I don't mean it like that either, although I didn't think the acting was terrible. I did think it was just a good show, to Chelsea's point, to kind of escape. So I actually really liked it.
But we go back to the gifts, though, because Mark, you said they're giving out roller watches. So I'll go for you, too. I mean, hey.
And then we have Kaylee again for the flight attendant. She's up for Best Actress. She definitely deserves the nod. I thought she just pivoted nicely from comedic to dramatic. And then Ellie Fanning from The Great. I watched the trailer for this. It's a Hulu show, and I thought it was just funny enough that I think I could get into it. So I'm going to put that on my list. And then Jane Levy from Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist on NBC, the only broadcast nomination from the major networks. I feel like she's doing a modern day version of Glee. I don't think that there's anything wrong with her, but I don't, those, when people just suddenly break out into songs on TV shows, it frightens me, and I'm not sure where to
Absolutely not. I'm proud to say, I'm sorry if someone likes this, but that show gives me, like, I'm like, click, and sometimes my remote is like freezing, and I'm like, get this off my TV. I don't know about it. I want to
I'm out. Like, I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if somebody was just doing NBC a solid, but because they didn't get any other nods and the show's on NBC, and I'm probably going to get fired for these comments, but
be true to yourself, TA. Be true to yourself.
And then I gotta say, Catherine O'Hara, Schitt's Creek. That's who I want to win this, hands down. She's reinvented herself. She had Beetlejuice. She was in Home Alone. She was in the Canadian version of SNL. She was in everything. And as Myra or Maura, Randy, help me. She would. She just
more. So I can't even say it now. It's the champagne now. See, right? See, I can't even say it.
Just for her costume changes, she deserves a Golden Globe.
Right? There's something, I think I read something earlier today where it was like, who you think should win, who will win, because that's what this is what we're talking about right now. And there was pretty much every category had two options, and they go, who you think will win? And it says Catherine O'Hara. Who will win? Catherine O'Hara. Because nobody else should win this category but this woman.
Darlene says, sorry, TA, but they will not fire you, honey bunny. Okay, thank you.
We're good.
When I need a job, I'll be hitting up Darlene. This one said, what do you think of Bridgerton? It was great costume design. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought that whole thing was amazing.
I loved it. Wait, I haven't gotten the crown out in a while.
So I almost came in full Bridgerton attire just to protest the snub, but I decided against it.
The rise in corset purchases has actually increased since the show came out. Just saying.
Chelsea, take us through Best Supporting Actor in a TV Series.
Okay, Best Supporting Actor in a TV Series. We have John Boyega for Small Axe. We have Brendan Gleeson for the comedy role. Dan Levy, Schitt's Creek. Jim Parsons for Hollywood. And Donald Sutherland for The Undoing. So are you going to go super dark, or are you going to be happy? So I keep going back and forth with, Schitt's Creek. It's their final season. Dan Levy, of course, has been nominated before. So they're just like, do you just give it to him because it's the end of the series and that's his final nomination? I don't know, because I loved him in Schitt's Creek. But I don't know a ton of the other the other shows as much as I know about The Undoing, and Donald Sutherland being pretty phenomenal in The Undoing as well.
He's always good, isn't he?
Always good. Just, yes. He's one of those terrifying people to me. Just very terrifying.
And then Sabir is going to take us through Best Picture, Musical or Comedy, and a Motion Picture. You're going to start with The Person I Hate. I feel it.
Yeah. Borat, subsequent movie, film. I don't get it. I don't know. Next. Okay. Hamilton. Plus, I get that. Awesome. Music, YouTube movies. Okay. Yeah. And Palm Springs on HBO. I think it was HBO. Yeah. And then The Prom on Netflix. Guys, I haven't seen any of these, so please help me. Give me one to watch. Give me one to watch because I'm late. I'm gonna go back and watch it.
Let's turn this category over to Mark. Hi, Mark.
Mark.
You know, again, it's weird. Musicals and comedies in one category. The thing about Hamilton, it has gotten all this acclaim, but it's been like a couple of years now, and I don't know. I wonder if people are a little Hamilton out. And please, no emails from Hamilton fans. I love the show as well. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed The Prom, how touching it was, how funny it was with a group of Broadway actors who are in a failed musical and they want to get good publicity, so they go to a small town that's having an issue with allowing same-sex people at the prom. The movie was really touching. James Corden was fantastic. So I really like that. But I was also impressed with Palm Springs, that Andy Samberg, always playing the crazy guy on Saturday Night Live, kind of takes it down a couple notches in Palm Springs.
For me, a little bit of him goes a long way. I wish he was never the lead. I wish he was just like the third sidekick.
Less is more for you.
He's in that Borat category for me. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
A little bit of him is good. You saying it's so harsh, but like when he is just a little bit, it's great. And I really miss his SNL shorts. I mean,
Yes.
come on.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing.
Mark, I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh no, that's I covered it. I had everything I had to say there on that one.
All right, then we're going to turn it over to Randy for the last category that we're going to talk about. Best TV Actor. Go, Randy.
This is tough. In this category, Don Cheadle, who is amazing. Amazing. So this category is going to be really, really difficult too. Nicholas Hoult for The Great. I'm not into period pieces, but this one I actually really enjoyed the sarcasm, the kind of the funny. It's good. If you want to watch it, I highly recommend it. But then you've got Schitt's Creek and Eugene Levy, who's nominated. And look, I don't know that you can get better than Schitt's Creek. Jason Sudeikis is also in this category for Ted Lasso on the movie, but I thought his performance was fantastic, and he's a wonderful actor, so interesting. And then there's Rami Youssef for Rami, and he won in this category last year, so will this be a double Pete? And of course, that's on Hulu. I think probably this is going to be one of the tougher categories, but I feel an upset. Mark, do you feel like this is one of those categories where it could be an upset?
I'm trying to find the category on my little list here. I've lost it there. So,
and I think that Rami Youssef is wonderful in Rami. I think that for him to win it 2 years in a row might be unusual, but maybe not. Then you think Eugene Levy and Schitt's Creek, which we all know is a wonderful series. And Nicholas Hoult, I think, was really great in The Great. And then you got Don Cheadle. I mean, does it get any better than Black Monday on Showtime? It's really a toss-up and a very kind of diverse a bunch of films. When you think about a sports movie with Ted Lasso, when you think about Schitt's Creek, which is just a comedy, to your point, Mark, it's just a lot of mixed up things. Very complex character with Rami Youssef's character. So it's interesting. I think this one will be one of the upset categories, though.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Eugene Levy, because he's won so many awards now, maybe they're looking for someone else to win. So all very strong contenders. Don Cheadle is always amazing. So we'll see on that one.
He's one of those ones that no matter what he's playing, he draws you in too. He's one of those quality top line actors. And I want him to win. I do want a clean sweep of Schitt's Creek, but right there we can
Hey, and don't forget Nicholas Hoult for The Great. I think that could be the sleeper one in the upset category too. He was great.
Here's a weird comment from Darlene. Sabirah, I miss you on the air.
I saw that earlier. Darlene, I'm still here, my friend. I am still here Monday through Friday, 5,
That's
6
it. You moved from the weekend. That's what she's.
Oh, maybe that's it, Darlene.
That's it.
Honey, we're moving on up. And come along with me, please.
Got a crown. I mean, the girl wears a crown. She's kind of a big deal.
Crown here, okay?
Randi West, your final thoughts.
Look, I think tonight's show is going to be interesting. The dynamic of it being virtual, I wonder. A lot of the award shows in this season, it's weird that it's on right now. I saw someone commented earlier. They said the Golden Globes are tonight.
I'm watching it in my kitchen.
They were delayed, so everyone's like, "Wait, the Golden Globes are tonight." So all the award shows are kind of, we're not used to it this time of the year. It being virtual, I think it'll be. I think it might fall flat comedic because it is virtual. We'll see, but I agree. I think Mank will not get as many awards tonight as they were nominated for. I do think there'll be some big upsets. And if Jason Bateman doesn't win for Best Actor in The Ozark, I am throwing the boycott flag on the Hollywood Foreign Press and the Golden Globes.
Well, you and Chelsea and Sabirah and I know, and Mark, like if you're working remotely, and you just have your headphones on and you're not seeing the other person, the timing is obviously going to be off. Just to circle back to what you're talking before. I mean, just Sabirah, the delay, we wait when the anchor says your name and we're going to Sabirah, there's a delay there that, that's hard to get over, I would think.
And to have a whole award show like that, I mean, we'll see. And I really miss the red carpet. I mean, I understand we have a lot of big issues here, but when we're talking about entertainment, this is our relaxation. It's like sports, entertainment. This is where we go, woosah. So I would love to see the red carpet, the fashion, and I am a little concerned about the technology. But hey, we've had like a year to figure this out now with virtual shows and things of that sort. I mean, look at us here. I'm at my house. I'm here with you, lovely people. It's amazing. So.
And then Chelsea, what are your final thoughts on tonight's Golden Globe starting at 7? Or I guess already started.
I'm watching it right now. I've got Laverne Cox. Looks like she's in her own closet, but she looks freaking fabulous. So.
And then Mark, your final thoughts for tonight.
I agree. I'm worried about the timing, about not having the live audience feedback, but don't underestimate Tina Fey. They've probably been rehearsing for a week, so they might come up with something that surprises everyone and makes it more entertaining than we might think.
I love Tina Fey. We share a birthday, May 18th. What? Yeah. So anytime she's around, soul sister. And Sabirah, it's an important night for several ladies, right?
Several ladies, a really big night once again for diversity. And I think, we have the women in the category, we have a diverse group of women, but there's still going to be a lot of conversation about who is this board and what's going on. I mean, Mark mentioned Rolex watches or something. I don't know if it's Rolex watches, but the gifts and things of that sort. But on a serious note, I mean, come on now. Now, one Black member of this association with 80 people, and we're talking about film and entertainment, a genre that Black people and people of color have dominated and been a source for entertainment for years. So let's see some representation, people. Come on, please. But let's also have fun with it. And I want to see more shows that we're watching. Bridgerton. I want to see a Crown. I want to see some things. We can still have those really edgy films and TV shows, but let's see what we're seeing on our queue at home, please. Thank you. Those are my takeaways. I'm done. I'm quiet.
We need to lighten up a little bit.
Jason, can you play a message from Kelly Dunn for us, please?
Oh.
And we'll just stand here waiting. We're doing that thing where we're waiting.
Thank you, TA, and everybody, all of our panelists, and everybody behind the scenes who are making this Facebook Live and streaming event happen. We're very excited. The Golden Globes back on NBC this year. A little bit late. Usually it's in January, but at least February. And so excited about Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. They are hilarious.
Love them in any setting.
And exactly, with an audience or not. I mean, they're going to be on different coasts, and they're still going to be hysterical.
You see us laughing and smiling even behind our mask.
I know, you can see people's eyes squint up. That's how you know they're smiling. I, for one, am looking forward tonight. The Crown, Ozark.
My girls love The Crown, so I've seen that.
Schitt's Creek, hysterical. The Queen's Gambit, we both like that.
Yeah, chess player.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I have to admit, Kelly and TA especially, what an expert on Golden Globes. I'm a little behind the times. How much do you ask? I heard that Perry Mason I thought, Raymond Burr from the original that I've been watching at home lately.
Bud is falling over.
One of our chief engineers is doubled over laughing right now, only because he remembers the original like me. But it's going to be a lot of fun tonight to go.
I know.
And you know what? A nice chance. It's that sense of normalcy that we begin to get again, that we can all get together and enjoy something like that.
Exactly. Well, tonight at News Channel 5 at 11, we're going to be on with you. So we're going to watch the Globes, and then we're going to give you all the day's news at 11. And tomorrow morning, the can't miss moments coming up with Ashley Walters and Mike Trim on Today on 5. That begins at 4:30. So we've got you covered. You can now sit back and enjoy the show. Good luck to all the actors, actresses, shows, and all that kind of stuff. It'll be interesting to see.
Get the popcorn out. Do they
That's
still
right.
do that?
Sure, you make it. Well, make your own. Exactly. It'll be a fun night. Thanks everybody for joining us, and again, thank you for watching this on your streaming service or on Facebook and all of that. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Kelly and Michael. That's so nice of you guys to contribute tonight. We really appreciate that. And I wanted to, Jason, say what?
They had a rundown. They've like watched them all.
They've been doing this long enough. You just tell them to say 1, 2, 3, and they're like, boom, we gotcha. I do, but before we, Mark has such an interesting job, and we have a story from him that I want to give Jason time to pull up and get ready to play. All the like cool gifts and swag he gets from all these production houses, so he will review their movies. We'll play that in a second, but first I wanted to say thank you so much to Chelsea Taylor for coming on tonight. I know you have 3 kids that you're trying to keep out of that room right now.
Yep, it's going great.
And then Sabirah, thank you for taking off your news hat for one night and really stepping out of your normal zone and being our panelist tonight. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much, TA. This was the highlight of my weekend. Very seriously. I'm not just saying that because it's a pandemic, but hey, thank you.
And then Randi West, we're happy to have you at 97.9 WRMF on the air with us here at West Palm Beach. You're one of the best on-air personalities I know. Well, Chelsea too. Hold on, let me put Chelsea back up. But you run one of the best radio stations in town, and you're a true talent. So thank you for contributing tonight.
Thank you. So much fun. I want to do more of this. So it was great to be a part of it. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And then Mark, thank you so much for being.
Oh, he's got his weird stuff out. He's got his weird stuff out again.
Oh, again.
Thank you guys so much. And Jason, yeah.
Now I can picture Mark watching the Globes in that. I don't know if we really want to end.
Jason, go ahead and play Mark's story for everybody. And thank for Taste and See South Florida. I'm TA Walker for WPTV News Channel 5.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
For those nominated, but for critics, it can get even more bizarre.
We're not receiving anything.
That's something we don't say, as we're flooded with mail from studios anxious for their movies to be seen.
It's a great show. Have you seen it?
Yes, I have seen it. It's great.
DVD screeners arrive almost nonstop, as do invites to see the movies via streaming links. Studios also send screenplays, ranging from paperback versions to deluxe hardcover editions.
It's time to build
For the music and song categories, there's plenty of CDs and vinyl. Netflix even sent this nice folder featuring a sheet of music from the Mank soundtrack signed by the composers.
Like our young brother said, there's no denying that greater forces were at work.
And those studio forces are busy at work, sending promotional items almost nonstop. Some are pretty traditional, like caps and t-shirts, but others are much more original.
I just thought you should be prepared for what comes next. What comes next?
What came next from I'm Your Woman star Rachel Brosnahan was this alarm clock, along with a note saying, "Thanks for all the time."
I'm a nice guy.
Are you?
In Promising Young Woman, Carey Mulligan's character likes to write in her notebook, so Focus Features sent critics their own journals to record their thoughts.
Really, why you do the things you do? This is what I tell them.
The United States versus Billie Holiday tells the story of the acclaimed singer known for wearing a gardenia in her hair. So the studio shipped these fragrance oil diffusers with the scent of Tahitian gardenia.
Hello, coffee?
Nomadland is about a woman on a long road trip, so the studio gave critics posters in the form of a road map, along with these matching travel coffee mugs. Minari is about a Korean farmer in America, so what could be more perfect than a set of recipe cards?
You just have to embrace the fact that nothing matters.
In Palm Springs, Andy Samberg drinks a lot of beer, So Hulu shipped a 4-pack of specially created brewskis to critics.
Raise your hand if that sounds fishy.
Bill Murray's character in On the Rocks is a big fan of martinis, so critics received a gift box with a bottle of vodka and gin, along with the martini recipe on the back.
They're nice.
Borat star Sacha Baron Cohen not only made a direct appeal for awards consideration, but also did a public service, sending out some personal protective equipment. But perhaps the cleverest items came courtesy of the animated short film Wind Up. The gift box included a miniature music player, a bento box, tea bags and tea bag holders, and 2 fortune cookies with a fortune asking for some awards love. I'm Mark Rechmel reporting.